It's not just the baseball that's been missing from late fall through winter. What's been missing are the sounds of baseball. What's been absent are the smells and tastes of everything that is baseball. We've been without the hustle and bustle around the ballpark, on the concourse, and yes, it's even been quiet at the Tiki Bar. Those months are indeed quiet and slow, but they are also gone. Welcome back to Clearwater, Florida. Welcome back to the sights and sounds of America's pastime. And yes, the Tiki Bar is open for business. Welcome back to 2017 Phillies spring training. Welcome back to baseball. It's been a long winter waiting for baseball to return. Guys like Maikel Franco are looking to build on last year with some new additions like Howie Kendrick, who's going to be the Phillies' everyday left fielder, and Michael Saunders, who's going to be the everyday right fielder. A little different look for Pete Mackanin and the Phils. And today is Game 2 of spring training baseball as they take on the New York Yankees over from Tampa. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Ben Davis. We'll hear from John Kruk in just a little bit, and Greg Murphy will be with us a little later on as well. All right, so you've had all of these days to think about what you're looking forward to this spring training. What are you looking forward to this year as a whole?
Isn't it good to be back, Tom? It feels so good to be down here in Clearwater. One thing I'm really looking forward to is this core of players, this nucleus of players, really solidifying themselves and being in the everyday lineup for these Fightin' Phils for years to come. We know the opportunity is there, and we also know about the multitude of prospects that the Phillies have coming up through the system. They're not just ready just yet, but these Phillies are. Hopefully they can really solidify themselves as being a part of this Phillies for years to come, because until those prospects get here, that's what they are. They're minor league prospects. These are big leaguers. Hopefully they can take advantage of it.
Well, they're hopefully going to build on what happened last year. There have been some changes not only on the field but also in the dugout. We have a change in the booth this year because Matt Stairs has ventured down to the dugout where he's assumed the role as the Phillies hitting coach. It's something he's wanted to do for years since he stopped playing, and the hope is that he will evolve this offense the way he attacked the baseball. So as we mentioned, there was a void in the booth, and we filled it quite nicely.
Ground ball, it's fair ball. Kruk to Paul. The Phillies are the 93 National League Eastern Division champions. This wonderful band of throwback players has won the National League East.
As Harry said it so perfectly, this wonderful band of throwback players have helped the Phils win the 1993 pennant. They eventually lost to the Toronto Blue Jays of the World Series, but that team, led by John Kruk and Darren Daulton and Lenny Dykstra, that team will always be ingrained into the thoughts and minds of the Philadelphia fan base. And now Johnny has rejoined us up here in the booth. It's good to have you back.
Well, good to be back. That brings back a lot of great memories, but we're going to make some new ones this year.
What are you looking forward to this year? I mean, with this ball club as a whole.
Well, with the ball club, you know what? Offensively, they have to get better, Tom. That you can't just give away outs. Matt Stairs has his work cut out for him, but these guys are going to work on this spring, from everyone I've talked to, about better situational hitting, a better two-strike approach, and making productive outs. Look, they're going to strike out. We understand that. Cut back on the strikeouts, so put the ball in play. More runs should cross the board for this Fightin' Phillies offense.
Yeah, and also hitting the fastball a little more consistently. Matt's talked about that as well. So we've got a long season to talk about all those things as we look forward to Phillies baseball. Adam Warren trying to make a spot in the Yankees rotation for him. Will make the start today for New York. Meanwhile, Adam Morgan will start for the Phils. He's probably going to be one of the candidates to be a long man for the Phillies. 71st year of baseball here in Clearwater. There's not a prettier sight in all of spring training. Lineups and first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Citizens Bank, official bank of the Phillies. Visit citizensbank.com. By Toyota. The Toyota Safety First President's Day sales event is on. Toyota, let's go places. By Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. It is a perfect day for baseball here in Clearwater, Florida. Spectrum Field, for the home of the Philadelphia Phillies. The berm has some folks enjoying the sunshine and a little relaxed atmosphere. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Yankees, brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Torreyes leads it off. He's at second base, then Romine and Greg Bird. Greg Bird missed all of last year with a bum shoulder. Chris Carter, the DH, will back cleanup. Then Aaron Judge and Clint Frazier. Miguel Andujar is the third baseman. And Gleyber Torres will start at shortstop. And then Dustin Fowler will round it out and play center field for the Yankees. And there's Adam Morgan. What role will he play this year? Well, it's anticipated that he is going to play the role of a long man, possibly for the Philadelphia Phillies. But as Pete told us last week, he wants to get all of the pitchers stretched out. And there are some options for Adam Morgan, even in the starting rotation in the big club.
Take a look at the scouting report for Adam Morgan. 89 and 94. A little bit better last year of coming in with the curveball, mixing that in. The slider, we know, is really his out pitch against lefties. The changeup came a long way, but he needs to keep the ball on the ground. He does elevate the pitch sometimes, and the long ball will hurt him, but I'd like to see him keep the ball on the ground.
Bob McClure is a huge fan of Adam Morgan because of his determination on the mound. There is Pete Mackanin. He'll be opposed today by Joe Girardi. Girardi has never had a losing season as the manager of the New York Yankees.
And it seems like every year they're talking about they need to get rid of him. But this is a new venture here for Joe, though, in New York with all these young players. You know, you don't think of the Yankees of a team that's rebuilding, but they trade away a lot of pieces last year, and they got a lot of really, really good prospects back for him. So it's going to be an interesting season for the Yankees.
Well, and a lot of those guys are in the lineup today, including Torreyes, who leads it off. So here's the first pitch of the day from Spectrum Field, and it's cracked on the ground on one hop to Freddie Galvis. Nice pick by Tommy Joseph. And one away.
Well, that's efficient.
Yeah, Tommy's worked a lot this spring already on his defense. Not only playing those hops, he was doing that today, but also moving around the bag a little bit.
Yeah, talked to Larry Bowa a lot about Tommy Joseph and his progress at first base. Talked to Tommy before the game, and he said, now, did Bowa take you out to that half field every single day? I said, yeah, every day. He said, well, he's only doing every other day with me, but he said he's going to start ramping it up.
Here's Austin Romine, who was the backup catcher last year for the Yankees.
They must have a dinner reservations in Tampa tonight.
Yeah, yesterday in the game at Tampa, Didi Gregorius jumped on a first pitch and blasted it out of the ballpark for the Yankees. No balls, one strike to Romine. Yeah, it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
The hard fastball there by Morgan. If you want to miss, you want to miss off the plate, especially on pitches in. You don't want that ball creeping back over the middle.
Over to second base, Cesar Hernandez. A couple of ground ball outs, 2 away here in the first. Not a bad start for Adam Morgan.
No, like you talked about earlier, like Ben said, he's got to keep the ball on the ground. He is prone to give up the home run ball. But you see this pitch to Romine right here. It looked like a changeup running away from him, and he committed the fastball in, set that pitch up, Ben.
Best way to do it.
Well, here's Greg Bird. Bird missed all of last year with a shoulder injury. Played 46 games for the Yankees in 2015. He is scheduled to be the everyday first baseman because Mark Teixeira has retired and decided that life is better in the broadcast booth, and he's going to be doing some broadcasting. Up and in, 1 ball and 1 strike to Greg Bird.
You're the catcher, Ben. What do you do now? Fastball up and in?
I'd double up in there. Pitchers do fall into habits of running one in and then going right back away. You get a hitter to start diving on you.
Looked like Rupp wanted that one away, but it tailed back over toward the middle of the plate.
Fastball down and away. Adams got some good life on his fastball, sitting about 93 right now.
They talk about that shoulder injury that he had a couple years ago, that each year they had hoped that he would progress and get stronger and stronger. And he gets a strikeout to wrap up the first. So an efficient first inning for Adam Morgan as he begins his 2017 spring training. 2 groundouts and then this strikeout. On to the bottom of the first. Yankees nothing and the Phillies coming up.
This
Pete has said all along that he is hoping his team will get to the 500 mark at least this year. Let's take a look at his starting lineup for this afternoon's ball game. It is brought to you by Xfinity. The new Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Hernandez, Kendrick, and Herrera. That may be 1, 2, and 3 for the Phils when we get to the regular season. And Franco most likely will be the cleanup batter. Where Rupp and Galvis bat, well, that'll be determined as the spring moves on. And Aaron Altair getting the start in right field. And they will face Adam Warren, the 29-year-old who the Yankees traded to the Chicago Cubs and then was traded back to the Yankees. He's battling for a starting spot, but he has been so good out of the bullpen for the Yankees, not as much for the Cubs during his major league career.
Yeah, he's always wanted to start. When you talk to him, you know, of course everyone wants to start, but he is so valuable out of the bullpen with multiple innings. You know, you get a game that gets a little out of hand one way or the other, you could throw him out there for 3, 4 innings if you have to. Been a very durable workhorse for the Yankees.
Facing Cesar Hernandez to start things off, and Cesar takes a strike. Not many Phillies hitters had a better second half than Cesar Hernandez. Hit 294 overall with 6 home runs. Said he bulked up this year, gained about 15 pounds during the offseason. We can show him how to do that in 2 days. To the right side, Bird's got it.
Is that what they said when I came to spring training? He bulked up?
Yes. Well, they said it to your face that way, but then behind your back they said something else.
Yeah, change the number in the pants. 44s turned into 40s. Make me feel good about myself. Great.
Here's Howie Kendrick, acquired from the Los Angeles Dodgers. And we talked to Pete the other day. We had a meeting with Pete and Matt Klentak, and it seems like this is where they want bat him for the upcoming season because he takes pitches.
He takes pitches. His natural stroke is the other way. So if Hernandez gets on, you know, you set up a perfect first to third situation with Howie, and you can also drive the ball that way.
Fly ball out to right field. Aaron Judge is under it for the second out.
Tom, you did say that you might see these top 3 guys in this batting lineup for the Phillies, but the best thing that Pete Mackanin has on his side is the fact that those 3 guys are interchangeable. They can hit 1, 2, 3 each man. If one person is really hot, throw him in the 3-hole.
Here's Odubel Herrera, who was an all-star last year. 286 with 15 home runs, 49 runs batted in. He's going to be leaving in a couple of days to go to the World Baseball Classic. He had a big offseason. What a sense of relief when you sign a 5-year contract extension with options for 2022 and 2023.
It ain't bad.
You have 7 years set for, set ahead of you.
Oh, I thought, yeah, our pay scale's a little different, he and I. Though, he had an unbelievable first half. Second half, though, he had a little tail off. And, Ben can tell you, it's tough your first few years. Once you hit September, you're like, this might never end.
Broke his bat, looped it out towards second base, and both starting pitchers have easy first innings. 1, 2, 3 go the Phils. On to the second here at Spectrum Field. Nemours' opening day is just around the corner. Friday, April 7th at Citizens Bank Park against the Washington Nationals. It's part of a 3-game series. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. A Phillies commemorative knit cap will be given out to all fans. You get a peek at that cap right there. Top of the second, both teams went down 1-2-3 in their half of the first. And yesterday, the Phillies and the Yankees faced off, and Chris Carter was not in the lineup, but he is in today's lineup for the Yankees. They signed him late in the offseason after he had 41 home runs last year and had 94 runs batted in.
Easy pop.
It's not a bad designated hitter to have Chris Carter, a guy off the bench. Matt Holliday is scheduled to be their everyday designated hitter, but Carter can play a little first base as well. Man's got 150 home runs during his major league career, but you set aside the first 2 seasons and he's averaging over 20 home runs per season.
A good ballpark in Houston to help those numbers, but he has, like Ben said, unbelievable, just easy power.
Hitting coach in Milwaukee last year nicknamed him Sleepy because it looks like he's just asleep at the plate and all of a sudden the ball just jumps.
Last year was the most at bats that he had in his major league career. They're going to have a heck of an offensive line, though, with Carter and Aaron Judge and Bird and Matt Holliday.
They're not going to lose any bench clearing brawls either. The size of those guys.
Frazier ain't no little kid either.
Well, that's true. In the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes. First breaking ball that we've seen from Adam.
Definitely are a lot of things you're looking for early on in spring training. For me, for the pitchers, it's fastball command. First inning for Adam was great with his fastball. Got 3 outs all on that fastball.
The ball is rocketed and 1 hop off the glove of Cesar Hernandez. And that's the first hit of the day. That'll bring Aaron Judge to the plate. You want to see somebody hit a long home run? How about yesterday against the Phillies in Tampa?
He would have been upset at himself if he missed that one. It's a good pitch to hit, and he did not miss it.
Talked to some of the coaches and players, and they said that he didn't get it. It cleared the scoreboard, right? Yeah, but they said he didn't get it. I'm like, oh boy, my car's parked out there too. Here we go. Down and away. There you go.
I just think the reaction from the crowd when he hit it yesterday. I mean, live, if you watched it, everybody else looks like a middle schooler when he's walking through the dugout.
Oh, we got to throw Betances in there too as a pulling guard.
No balls and 1 strike to Judge, who came up last year for the Yankees.
Good pitch.
Got it in on the hands. Odubel Herrera out in shallow center. And 1 away. And here's one of the young Yankee prospects who may not start the year in New York, but at some point here in 2017, Clint Frazier could find his way up to the big club. Former 5th overall pick by the Cleveland Indians, and he was acquired in the Andrew Miller trade last year. They did get some really good prospects back in the Chapman trade and the Andrew Miller trade.
And they get Chapman back. Tell you what, there's a lot of young kids in that Phillies dugout who are really happy when they looked at the Yankees travel roster and saw Chapman didn't make the trip.
Yeah, they might be ready for him in maybe 2 weeks.
And number 97 is probably not going to have a great opportunity against Aroldis just yet.
Swing and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes. If you're Adam Morgan, you know, they talked about him being a long man. You can't come into camp with that kind of mindset, right? You have to think, I'm going to be a starting pitcher.
Exactly right. Can't give anything up. One mindset only. But if he is that long man that they're looking for, he can turn it loose a little bit more as opposed to if he was a starting pitcher. You're going to see that velocity bump up.
Little looper out toward right center field. Is going to drop for a base hit. Well, speaking of the bullpen and long man situation, we talked to Bob McClure about that.
Very comfortable and a little uncomfortable, and part of the reason is because we have guys that by far we've added more quality. Later, guys that can pitch later inning, even though we may pitch, you know, Benoit in the 6th inning get out of a jam, you know, or might pitch him in the 8th inning. So we've added quality as far as experience and also stuff-wise as far as getting guys out. The thing you have to watch for, especially early in the season, is having a long guy, a guy that can pitch long. And when you're talking, not that they can't go 2 innings, they can. And I have no problem with that. But if that happens too many times, you don't really have basically a couple guys that can pitch 4 innings, maybe 5 innings coming out of spring training.
Well, Bob is always very honest when it comes to, you know, the players that he has and giving us straight comments about it. Off the end of the bat foul, 0-2.
Well, this is Philadelphia, man. You can't trick people here. Got to call them as you see them.
Well, as a player, that's what you want as well. You want your coaching staff to be honest with you. If I'm doing well, let me know I'm doing well so I can continue to do those things I'm doing well. If I'm not performing the way you want me to perform, let me know. I can make the adjustments.
No balls and 2 strikes to Miguel Andujar. And he lays off the fastball, 1-2. Phillies certainly have a depth of starting pitchers, not only in the big club, but also guys that potentially could be in AAA. But in this day and age, you kind of need that depth because of injuries. Pretty good pitch.
Slider down and in. I'd like to see Adam come back with a changeup here. It comes out of your hand like a fastball. You just saw a pitch that has some spin on it. Comes out of your hand as a fastball, but it's a lot slower. You're going to be out in front.
There's something running away. Andujar kind of opens up early, trying to look like he's trying to yank everything.
There you go. Back to the mound. Nice play by Morgan. There's 1 and 2. A 1-6-3 double play. That ball was hit sharply, but Adam Morgan fielded his position quite nicely. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 man left, and a little defense by the Phils starting pitcher. We'll head to the bottom of the second in a scoreless game. Find out more on the Phils' new look outfield and what impact new hitting coach Matt Stairs could have on the offense. Plus predictions on the most improved Philly for this year. Watch Phillies Focus tonight at 6 right here on CSN. Talked about how genuinely excited Matt is about, being the hitting coach for the Phillies. We've been with him for the last several years up here in the booth, and his knowledge is evident when it comes to not only the Phillies hitters, but just hitters overall.
And his willingness to convey that.
I guess that's an important part, is just being able to get your point across to these guys. Here's a guy he's been working on most of spring, Maikel Franco. And Matt had a goal this year, was to get Franco with a veteran in his hitting groups, and that veteran has been Howie Kendrick, and they've been sort of attached by the hip as that ball spun foul.
Yeah, Howie told me during batting practice today how even last year when he was with the Dodgers, how he would talk to Franco about, take the ball the other way. If that's what we're throwing, take it that way. You can't try to pull everything.
Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Especially at Citizens Bank, when you're playing 81 games there, the way that ball flies out to right field and left, you don't have to try to be a dead pull hitter to hit home runs there.
We would see him do that from time to time. We think, all right, he's starting to, come around to that way, because as Pete mentioned to us the other day, he's got a chance to be 30 and 100 every year. He's not far off from that. And quite honestly, they probably need him to be 30 and 100.
And he wants to be 30 and 100, just as long as he doesn't put all that pressure upon himself.
If the Phillies are going to have a better team offensively, he has to be their best player. Herrera had a good year last year. Hernandez had a good year, but this is a guy that has to be their best player.
Over at first base, Greg Bird is under it. And 1 away here in the second. Michael Saunders is coming up to the plate. We had a chance to catch up with Michael earlier this spring. We'll hear from him in just a moment. Michael's over from the Toronto Blue Jays organization. Played 2 years with Toronto, but really only played 1, and that was last season because he was injured the year before. But he got into the mix a little bit with the Blue Jays home run hitters. 24 home runs.
He probably had to hit 8th in that lineup with only 24 homers. I think, Ben, you guys have seen the Phillies a lot more than I have last year. I think they needed a left-handed bat to hit behind Franco just to hopefully get him better pitches to hit.
Not only left-handed at bat, but just some production from the corners. And that was one thing that Matt Klentak said in our meeting again the other day, that they needed desperately last year was production, offensive production from the outfield. Yes, they had defensive production, but offensively it just wasn't there.
1 ball and 2 strikes. So they signed him to a 1-year deal with an option, and if it works out, that's great.
That's an early spring training take right there. You get going so fast, you get fast feet, start flying at the baseball.
Swing and a miss. So Saunders is down on strikes. First strikeout for Adam Warren. We mentioned that we talked to Saunders about coming over to the Phils earlier this spring, and this is what he had to say.
I was excited. So basically free agency opened up November 1st, and Phillies were one of the first teams to call. And we just continued contact throughout the entire offseason. And, I told a lot of people there's something about or something to be said about feeling wanted, and this organization made me feel that way, and I'm just very excited to be here.
Here's Tommy Joseph. For more on Michael Saunders, let's welcome in Murph for the first time this spring. Murph, what's going on?
Well, thank you, Tom. Good to be here. And yeah, you hear Michael Saunders talking about being wanted by the Phillies franchise, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, he really was the perfect kind of free agent fit, a guy that left-handed batter that can kind of fill that hole in the middle of the lineup. And Matt Klentak also talked about, the other things, the intangibles a guy like Michael Saunders can bring. A highly touted guy when he was drafted with Seattle, also played with a winning organization in Toronto. He can bring that to the clubhouse as well. And as you guys mentioned early in this game, he's a fastball hitter, and they needed guys that hit the fastball, so a perfect fit.
Yeah, last year he had a .306 batting average against the fastball. The Phillies had the 4th highest percentage of pitches, fastball pitches, thrown to them because teams felt like they can get the ball by them. So that, obviously, they needed to make an adjustment with that.
Usually it's the opposite, isn't it, Ben?
Usually the opposite.
Usually is.
Young hitters chase they hunt the fastball, and they struggle with off-speed pitches. But I've never heard anything like that.
Yeah, as a team, the Phillies were 29th in Major League Baseball batting average against the fastball. .261 batting average against the fastball.
If anybody can get a team to hit a heater, it's Matt Stairs.
Well, and he's talked about that this first week, about certain guys, prospects after the fastball with such consistency. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Tommy Joseph.
And it's not just going after a fastball. Oh, there's a fastball, let me attack it. You have to do it the right way.
Guys, I was talking to Stairsy about Saunders, and he said the one thing that he's noticed early on about him is that every time he's out there in batting practice, every time he's working on his swing, he's working on the same thing. Doesn't change anything. He's working hard up the middle, and that's what Matt Stairs and the rest of this organization has been preaching. Don't give away those at-bats and work the ball up the middle. He said Saunders is a perfect guy to watch and learn from. And again, these young guys that don't have as much experience as Michael Saunders, you can sit back and watch a guy like that who's had success, an all-star last year, and learn a little bit about his approach.
Tommy Joseph takes that fastball on the outside part of the plate. So back-to-back strikeouts for Warren, who's had 2 very comfortable innings for the Yankees. Back here in Clearwater as we go to the top of the third inning. Not much offense so far for either team, but we do have our first pitching change. Adam Morgan goes 2 scoreless innings. And now Cesar Ramos will be the new pitcher for the Phillies. Ramos over from the Texas Rangers organization. He is 32 years old. Had a 6.04 ERA last year in 16 games for the Rangers. He has spent 6 years in the American League, 2 years in the National League. He's got 248 Major League games under his belt. And he will face Gleyber Torres, the Arizona Fall League MVP, the 20-year-old. Kid's 20 years old.
That's no joke. Arizona Fall League is the top leagues out there.
Puts that one toward third, past Franco. And down the left field line, and Torres will wind up at second base. Torres, who spent the offseason working out in Miami with Cesar Hernandez. So they just had a word at second base.
Awful first swing by Torres, but Ramos leaves this one in the middle of the plate, and he goes after it and shoots it down the left field line. Nothing Michael can do.
Pretty good middle infielders for the Yankees, though. You figure Castro at second base, Didi Gregorius at shortstop, and then they have this young guy waiting in the wings. Here's Dustin Fowler, who takes a strike. Ball's hit sharply off the mound, flagged down by Galvis. Does get the runner over to third, but it saves a run. Freddie Galvis, who was one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball last year, lost out on the Gold Glove to Brandon Crawford for the Giants, but certainly played Gold Glove defense.
Yeah, and this is what Freddie Galvis can bring to the table right here. Tough hop. But you see how smooth it was. The catch, the slide, the spin, and he didn't overthrow the ball, try to rush it, even though Fowler can run a little bit. But a great piece of hit by Fowler to get the runner to third, but a great defensive play by Galvis to save a run. Now you get a strikeout, and you might get out of the inning here without giving up anything.
Well, here's Torres, who grounded out his first time up.
Is Ramos more slated as a situational lefty, or?
I think he's slated as a situational lefty. Now, Pete told us the other day that he does not have an issue with using a situational lefty for more than an inning. But I think that, Ramos, Joely Rodriguez, who we'll see later on today, those guys are sort of in the mix for that situational lefty spot. Franco looks the runner back.
The only place you cannot hit it if you're an offensive player. Anywhere else, it's a run.
That's what makes this game so interesting. He hits that a foot to either side. It's a run. But here's what you like too. This is, you coach kids. You try to tell your kids you have more time than you think. And a lot of guys would catch that ball. They might take one little peek at the runner on third and then just try to airmail one.
There's Austin Romine. He bounced out to Cesar Hernandez his first time up. Ball gets away from Cameron Rupp, and the Yankees will get a run. A wild pitch makes it 1-0 New York here in the third.
Not a whole lot Cameron can do with that one. People always ask me, why can't you block a fastball? Well, because it's 90 miles an hour. You just cannot get down in time, and the last thing you're expecting is a fastball to be in the dirt.
Could he have turned his glove?
I think he could have gotten his glove set a bit sooner to get into that position where he could pick the ball.
Fly ball right field, Aaron Altair. Wynn carried that back to the warning track. Yankees do get a run, though. They get a base hit. We played 2.5 here in Clearwater. Yankees Phillies baseball is brought to you by WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Hello, John Kruk and Ben Davis. I'm Tom McCarthy. Greg Murphy is here as well. The Phillies trail at 1-0 as we go to the bottom half of the third inning. Adam Morgan is heading out, signing some autographs. It's one of the rites of spring as the ball players venture down the left field line and headed to the clubhouse. Pretty good day for Adam Morgan. I mean, depending on what his role is, fastball looked crisp.
Love it. I'm going to ask you.
Murph loved it.
Looked very crisp, and the fastball, a little bit of movement on it, exactly what you're looking for. Good heater there to Bird to strike him out. Comebacker. This is what's going to make Pete Mackanin and Bob McCord very happy. They work on that all day long on the backfields, able to complete that double play.
Well, here's Dietrich Entz, the new pitcher for the Yankees. Had a heck of a year last year between AA and AAA. 14 wins, a 1.78 ERA. 4-pitch pitcher.
Aren't they all?
Freddie Galvis loops it out toward right center field. Aaron Judge is there. So 7 up, 7 down for the Yankees pitchers. Let's go to Greg Murphy, who's with Matt Klentak.
I am indeed. Thank you very much, Tom. Well, Matt, welcome back to baseball 2017. I know you guys obviously have been working to get this underway, but just, you know, when you get the chance to watch the guys for the first time at home, what's the overriding feeling for you?
Oh, it's exciting. It's fun. You know, all off season we worked to get to this point, and you know, now we get to, as we've been here for the last couple of weeks, get to see the guys again, get to watch them work out, and just about the time it starts to get a little tiring to watch them do drills, the games start, the sun comes out, it's perfect.
You know, we've talk about it all the time, and we get asked about it. I'm sure you do too, about the next step for this team. And when you look at the guys on the field, the major leaguers, the guys that are going to make the difference this year, there's a lot of room for growth when you look around the entire diamond, and that's got to be exciting for you guys.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that was a big part of last year for me, was watching these players day in and day out, and watching a bunch of them take steps forward. And I'm sure I'll leave some out, but you know, what Cameron Rupp did last year to really become a leader on this team and solidify himself as an everyday catcher. What Cesar Hernandez did in the second half, just taking that leap in the batter's box and defensively. What Odubel did to solidify his standing after the strong first year he had in the big leagues. Those are all really positive developments for us as we, you know, look to build a core of players growing forward. And then, you know, on top of that, and we had a chance to see this the other day against the University of Tampa, when we look at the players that are coming, that are now either at the AA or AAA level and have had, you know, some meaningful playing time at those levels, they're not far away. They're really a phone call away, and we can see the talent in those players as well.
Yeah, and the patience has to be there for all of these guys, both the guys that are here now and the guys in the minor leagues. But you also get a chance to add some new faces, which you guys did as a front office. You know, both corner outfield positions new, and a couple of guys in the bullpen as well. And that's also exciting for you guys.
Yeah, and I think the makeup of those, of those players was a big part of it for us. And as we have gotten to know, and probably you as well, as we've started to get to know the people as much as the players, and Howie Kendrick and Michael Saunders and Joaquin Benoit, Pat Neshek, just what makes these guys tick, the experiences that they've had throughout their own careers, and what they're able to bring to our clubhouse, and what the ways that they're able to help our young players develop. I mean, already in the last couple of weeks, we're already seeing that. And again, that's all, that's how we draw it up. And, we'll see how everybody performs throughout the year. That's really what will matter in the end. But so far, so good.
All right, Phil's making some things happening down there on the field. I know I speak for everyone. I say 2017, everyone excited to get things started. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
No problem, Murph. Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Murph, thank you. We talked to Matt Klentak the other day as Cesar Hernandez bats here, and he said the goals for this offense was broad improvement offensively, which they think they've tried to do, add bullpen depth, which they think they have done, as he mentioned, with Neshek and Benoit. He also wanted to maintain the culture in the clubhouse, which, I mean, Johnny, you know from '93 how important the culture is in the clubhouse. And also, not bringing starters that would block the young players who are evolving in the farm system. And they feel like they've done that by just adding Clay Buchholz along with Jeremy Hellickson.
Yeah, and that's the key. You bring in some veteran players, like they did, to help solidify an offense that struggled last year. But you also brought in guys who are on not long-term deals. So if these younger kids start developing the minor leagues, you can call them up, you can let them play and say, okay, you know what, thanks for coming, and we're going to go with the young kids.
See some of those young kids in the dugout there, as well as some veterans with Clay Buchholz. The ball is ripped on one hop to shortstop. Rupp's going to score, and Cesar Hernandez will get the RBI, and we're tied up at 1.
You talked about in the open right there, John. Getting it done with 2 strikes. Getting that run in from third base. Less than 2 outs. Yes, it's an out, but it's a very productive out.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, you can't try to do too much with that pitch. It's ball running away. Looked like Hernandez was trying to look for something to pull, but he hit it off the end of the bat and just hit it soft enough that it didn't reach a shortstop in the air.
Howie Kendrick takes low.
Torres had some intentions of throwing home too. He knew Rupp had to hesitate just a second.
I think if it's April 3rd, he's coming home with that ball.
Yeah.
Howie Kendrick, first time up, flied out to right field. 2 balls and no strikes. Kendrick made the transition essentially last year from being an everyday infielder to then playing outfield for the Dodgers, partly because they had Chase Utley. Played a little third base. He and Pete are planning to have an open line of communication as far as where he is going to play. And Pete has told him that out of the chute, unless there's an injury, you will be the everyday left fielder. And Kendrick said that makes him feel a little bit more at ease, understanding what his role will be. So we're tied up at 1. We go to the 4th here in Clearwater. Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, enjoy almost 300 spring training games and the 2017 World Baseball Classic. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Used that new app yesterday watching the Yankees and the Phils play from Tampa. Here's Ricardo Pinto, who takes over on the mound. So Cesar Ramos goes an inning, allows a hit and a run. Last year Pinto was 7-6 with a 4.10 earned run average. For the rest of the guys that we'll see today for the Phillies, it's most likely 1 inning and done. The starters for the Yankees and the Phils, Adam Morgan and Adam Warren, each went 2 innings. But the way Bob McClure has it set up, at least it looks this way. They will just use relievers for the rest of the day.
Johnny Holstaff.
The only one I think could go 2 innings, honestly, if he pitches today, is Mark Appel, because he's stretching himself out to be a starting pitcher. And he is warming in the bullpen right now for the Phils. First batter is Greg Bird. There's a Pell. Pinto last year was the number 10 prospect in the Phillies organization.
He already saw it first pitch, 95 miles an hour. You know he has a live arm.
He was the Phillies minor league pitcher of the year in 2015. One ball, two strikes. No one got the mask of Cameron Rupp. You need a few of those, Ben, in spring training just to kind of get yourself ready,
just
right?
to wake you up.
That's why I was blessed I was left-handed. Surely they'd have stuck my overweight self behind a dish. 8 years old.
DJ Rayburn, the home plate umpire. Phil Cuzzy, the crew chief. Not a bad pitch.
So my son played a game at third base. He's wrong-handed like you, John, and played a game over third base. He goes, Dad, I really enjoyed it over there. I said, well, enjoy it now while you're 10.
Yeah, because the only corner position you're going to be at is the one on the other side of the diamond.
Exactly.
Off the hands, out toward shallow left center. Odubel Herrera closing quickly. And one out. Pete was joking again today about Odubel. You see the jump from the get-go. Look where he's standing right there.
First step is so important.
Well, the first step's so important, but taking a direct route to the ball too. He didn't try to circle around that. He read it perfect off the bat, which anyone who's ever played outfield in Florida realizes how difficult that can be.
Well, this time he's going to have to head back. That ball is crushed by Carter. 2 outs. Well, Pete will be happy because he's getting some sprints in, because Pete said he came into camp a little overweight. He said that Juan Samuel has been working with him every day to try to cut the, what did he say, Ben, 8 pounds? 8 to 10 pounds?
8 to 10 pounds.
Yeah. Maybe I should give Sammy a call. Yeah, we can get that down.
You'd have to be here really early, though, John.
I'd have to run.
And you'd have to run.
Yeah, no chance of that going on.
Aaron Judge takes a strike. Murph has informed us that he's gained about 10 pounds this offseason, but nobody's really making a big deal out of that. They're making a big deal out of Cesar putting on 10 pounds of muscle and Odubel having to take off 10 pounds.
How come no one ever gets to lose 10 pounds of muscle?
I didn't have 10 to lose.
95.
It's always fun, the second game of spring. Guy rushing up there at 95. What a blast that was.
Down and away. It looks like it's a mile away.
Quite the loud pop in the glove of Cameron Rupp right there.
Sure is. Back in 15, when he was the Phillies minor league pitcher of the year, he won 15 games for Clearwater and Lakewood.
He's overthrew that changeup there.
He is just 23 years old. In fact, just turned 23 this past January. Line drive to center field, and Odubel Herrera has been a busy guy out there this inning. He has made all 3 putouts, and Pinto has a scoreless 4th. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. Phil's and the Yankees evened up at 1. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. The Toyota Safety First President's Day sales event is on. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Some of the different experiences here in Clearwater include some new signage that is all around the ballpark. Todd Zolecki from Phillies.com wrote a story the other day. In fact, wrote a couple of stories about how the Phillies are implementing some of these landscaping changes with the art that you see there and some of the signage that's all around the ballpark and near the clubhouse. In fact, if you walk down the one hallway in the Phillies clubhouse, all of the Wall of Fame inductees for the Phillies, not the A's, but the Phillies are there, including Johnny. Looks pretty sharp. Here's Odubel Herrera to lead it off against Entz. Odubel popped out his first time up.
I'm sure that helmet doesn't have a chance of staying on any out in front swing.
We had a light moment the other day when we were talking to Pete and Matt Klentak just about Odubel's reactions. I know you watched a lot of games last year, John, but I don't think we've ever seen anybody that had so many more reactions to pitches or swings in the batter's box than Odubel Herrera.
Or fly balls, for that matter.
Or bat flips on fly balls, yeah.
I did see that.
Man brings instant energy.
Yeah, that's. I don't know how energetic that is.
Over to first base. And a foul ball. Season tickets are still available for Citizens Bank Park. You can choose from full season tickets or 5 unique partial season ticket plans, which offer a few games each month. All season ticket packages feature an assortment of benefits, including discounted ticket pricing, ticket exchange options, pre-sale opportunities, plus prepaid parking options. For information, go to Phillies.com. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Herrera.
He's very animated, isn't he?
He is very animated. You know the whole speed up rule thing?
Doesn't apply.
Does not apply. High chopper to first. And with 1 out, here is Maikel Franco. Was there ever anything that you guys had to adjust from one year to another when you were young? Like they talk about Franco, you know, not trying to pull everything. I mean, how hard is that to fix something, whether it be a flaw offensively that you have going into the batter's box?
It's tough. You know, he's been playing long enough now, though, that it's kind of sometimes you have to think this is what it is. You know, I know one year I hit 20 home runs and 19 were to left field, 1 to center. And, you know, I was told in spring training, you got to learn to pull the ball. So I worked on pulling the ball spring. Problem was I pulled the ball all summer too. 4 to 3, 4 to 3, 4 to 3, hit 240, and I think, well, this isn't good. And we got a nice little sit down chat with Tony Gwynn, and the next year that didn't happen.
You guys have both been influenced by Tony Gwynn during your career.
Yes, we have.
Opposite way, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Franco.
Tony Gwynn Jr. just posted something on Twitter about last week, maybe a week and a half ago, about Tony was giving a demonstration to San Diego State about, you know, everyone says throw the barrel at the ball. He said that's the last thing you want to do. You just throw the knob of the bat at the ball. And every day Tony would tell me,
that ball is crushed deep to left field. Look out, Tiki Bar. The first home run of the spring for Maikel Franco has given the Phils a 2-1 lead. Well, there's no doubt he can hit the inside pitch.
Oh, a good swing there. The pitch down and in. Does not come around it. Stays through it. Blasted out to left field. It's a tight swing right there, John.
Yeah, short and quick, and you see how he waited back, though. I mean, he didn't run out to get that ball. You know, he hit a couple balls foul down the right side. It looked like that was an off-speed pitch. You know, that to me is more of it's a great piece of hit. Don't get me wrong, but it's a pitcher-catcher mistake. He's hitting the fastball foul to right field. You throw something, speed up his bat, but you still have to hit it.
There's Michael Saunders. Saunders struck out swinging his first time.
And getting back to that point about Tony, he'd say every day he'd tell me, he said, get in your stance, get your foot down, and take the knob of the bat to the ball. Obviously, the man had 8 silver bats, 8 batting titles. You know, it was a little more simplified for him. But, you know, you think about it, and is hitting really that simple? Well, it could be.
Well, to him it was. Some of us that aren't splitting atoms, it was a little more difficult, but he was amazing. You know, in '94, right before we went on strike, I talked to him. He said, I'm going to hit 400. I said, really? I said, how are you going to do that? He said, he was hitting 394. He said, I'm just starting to get hot. I'm like, oh my. I said, you better not hear the public. Public say you're going to have every guy on every other team upset with you for hitting 394, and you're just now starting to see it good. I think he'd have done it that year.
Fly ball down the left field line. Frazier shading his eyes from the sun. And he makes the catch for the second out.
One of the worst crimes ever, having Tony, and this is no disrespect to the city of Montreal. It's a great city, but having Tony get his 3,000th hit in Montreal was, you know, 1,500 people in the stands.
Well, even his last game as a Padre, Ricky Henderson got his 3,000th hit that day.
Tommy Joseph struck out looking his first time up. Second inning of relief for Enns. And then he delivers a strike. Over to first. And Bird's got it. So the Phillies take the lead on the home run by Maikel Franco. This will not be the last we will see of Maikel Franco going yard. Saw the reaction by Austin Romine, the Yankee catcher. I mean, he did not miss it. Franco gives the Phils a 2-1 lead as we go to the 5th.
Mark Davis came in.
Phillies on top 2-1 thanks to the home run by Maikel Franco. Andrew Poulin takes over in left field for the Phils. In there for Howie Kendrick. And here is Mark Appel. Appel, who the Phillies acquired from the Houston Astros. Pitched in just 8 games last year before needing surgery on his arm. 3-3 with a 4.46 ERA with Lehigh Valley. Former #1 pick by the Houston Astros. In fact, the first overall pick in 2013 at Stanford. There is no question that Mark Appel has the stuff. 6'5", 220 pounds.
And he's went to Stanford, and he's smart then, I guess.
Yeah, he's smart.
Huh.
Off the glove of Cameron Rupp. Take a look at the velocity. Even with the arm problems he had last year, he's still at 93, 94 right out of the chute. Little tapper to third, to roll foul. Our buddy Larry Anderson was in camp for the first few days in uniform before he announced his retirement from being an instructor. And he spent a lot of time talking to Mark Appel just about, you know, getting himself ready for the regular season.
When's the ceremony?
Well, we were going to try to do one the other day, but he decided to just send out a release and announce the retirement. He'll do that in a couple of days. He's now figured out how to use his Apple Watch. So
was that disgusting watching that today? Little backup slider, Ben.
Best pitch in baseball.
No kidding. Problem is, you never know when it's showing up.
Here's Andujar.
Yeah, Larry and technology. Some things you just need to leave alone.
Chris Mudd, one of the Phillies athletic trainers, was able to help Larry figure out his Apple Watch, which he's had for about a year. He can now talk into it as if it was a phone.
Oh, he was. Oh, wow, look, I got a text from my daughter on my watch.
Andujar hit it to a 1-6-3 double play. His first time up. Adam Morgan made a fine play on that.
It's like talking hair care tips with him. I mean, just come on. Some things just don't need to be addressed. Larry and technology, come on, man.
Sharply to the right side, and that's a base hit. So that puts a base runner aboard, and now Torres, who doubled his first time up, will get his second at bat for the Yankees.
First up, Gleyber Torres.
Gleyber Torres was acquired from the Cubs in the Aroldis Chapman deal. So they got Frazier in that deal. They got Gleyber Torres. And they also got Ben Heller, who is scheduled to pitch today for the Yankees. They got some pretty good players.
I think they got Frazier and
no, it was the Indians.
Miller.
That's right. The
Andrew
Indians
Miller
trade.
deal.
That's right.
Tell you what, how much respect you have, more respect you have for Andrew Miller. What he did last year in the postseason.
Every day.
Oh, and multiple innings.
Down the right field line, slicing away from Altair. Now that's going to trickle to the wall. Andujar is going to third. He'll hold up there as Altair makes a nice play on it. Well, that's the second double of the day for Torres.
And that's what makes it tough from a defensive standpoint, from a pitching standpoint. Okay, now how do I get this guy out? He had a double down the left field line his first time up, then shoots one down the right field line. It's like, okay, this guy uses the whole field. It's such an advantage as a hitter. And we were just talking about Tony Gwynn, who I think was the best at using the whole field. There's just no way to pitch somebody like that. Then you really have to rely on speed and getting someone out in front as opposed to hitting corners.
Greg Nettles had the best scouting report for Tony. He said when the pitcher goes in his windup, everyone run to the hole. Because he don't hit it at no one.
There's Dustin Fowler, who grounded out to shortstop his first time up. Breaking ball low, 1 ball, no strikes.
Now, if that's something that Appel is comfortable doing, that slide step, in my opinion, maybe that's just something that he does all the time. I haven't seen him enough, but in this situation, there's really no need to go into that slide step. But if it is a comfort thing, then use it.
That one's back toward our vantage point. Shatterproof glass.
Shatterproof.
Thankfully.
I was watching the monitor here. It's coming in hot.
He was trying to figure out where that was going to hit me. I don't know if you noticed the reflexes aren't too good anymore.
Doesn't show everybody where that ball hit on the telestrator.
Right here.
Right there.
Boom.
Is there opportunities for balls to come flying in the booth at Citizens Bank?
Very rare. I think there's only been 1 or 2 since the ballpark opened. Now, for some reason, the visiting TV booth.
We don't care about them.
Right. They have gotten some, but very rare.
We want to make them as uncomfortable as we can, don't we?
Yeah. Off the shin guard of Rupp. So for the second time today, the Yankees are going to get a run with a wild pitch. They may get 2 runs, and they will. Three runs have scored today for the Yankees on 2 wild pitches. And that's excellent base running because Torres, obviously got a good jump over to third, but that ball just rolled up the first base line by the dugout.
This hits Cameron Rupp's right shin guard. Tommy and Cameron both hustling to get over there.
I think with the hesitation with Tommy Joseph being new to the position of first base, he was doing the right thing. He was running in because he's the backup if you throw it to the pitcher covering home. Then when he saw how far the ball was bounding, he had to go back reverse field and try to go back and get that ball. By then it was too late.
Second strikeout for Mark Appel. That may be the only time this year we see 2 runs score on a wild pitch.
Well, let's hope.
Let's hope.
Unless it's us.
That would be exciting. Here's Torres. Torres is 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. Once to short, once to third. And he grounds this one to short. Freddie Galvis up with it. And the Yankees score a couple of runs here in the 5th inning. They retake the lead on a wild pitch. We played 4.5 on to the bottom of the 5th. Freddie Galvis will lead it off when we come back. Tomboy, presented by Geico, focuses on the obstacles women face in sports, both on and off the field. Log on to csnphilly.com/tomboy for inspiring stories like our own Jessica Camarado, who learned about the value of friendship in the tough world of sports reporting. Last of the 5th inning on a gorgeous day here in Clearwater. Temperatures are pretty comfortable back home as well. Freddie Galvis will lead things off.
Supposed to have a big storm coming at home at around 3 o'clock.
Oh, really? Thunderstorm?
My neighbor just informed me.
By the way, it's that young guy's birthday. 14 today.
Happy birthday.
Get a chance to enjoy it at the ballpark. Freddie Galvis fly to right his first time up. Dan Camarena is the new pitcher for the Yankees. Camarena, 6 foot, 200 pounds, former 20th round draft pick in 2011. Last year in the minor leagues, he was 10-7 on 3 levels and 9-6 in Double-A Trenton. It'll be Galvis, Cameron Rupp, and Aaron Altair due up for the Phillies.
Freddie take that on his own 2-0.
He's trying to see some pitches, John.
I would assume you'd see that 2-0 pitch better than most.
A lot of talk around camp for Freddie. I mean, he had 20 home runs last year, and is to get his on-base percentage up and to get his batting average up. He's down on strikes, so 1 away. I think
and limit those.
And limit those. But I think the tough thing is, you know, you take the 20 home runs and the 17 stolen bases. I guess you don't want to change everything from Freddie.
But that.
But that.
And again, if there's no saying if he swung at the 2-0 pitch, he would have hit it hard, put it in play, got a base hit, double, whatever. But it's a lot easier to hit that one than it is that 2-2 slider down at your back foot. At least I've found that through experience.
Cameron Rupp singled his first time up.
And it's a new pitcher. I understand that. It's 2-0. He hasn't thrown a strike yet. Make him throw a strike, but it's when you got to just zone it in, don't you, Ben?
I'd have cut it loose.
Pretty good off-speed pitch there.
Yeah. That's that spring training. Oh my gosh, they still throw change-ups.
Wait a minute, aren't they supposed to start throwing those in a week?
That's my mid-August.
Ball's hit sharply. Nice play over at third base. Andujar. That ball got on him fast.
That's probably Cameron's last AB of the day, but very nice job of hitting today by Cameron. Hits a bullet to right field his first time up. Hits a bullet to third base this time up. Again, using the whole field, hitting the ball hard. You did your job. You hit it hard. It's been a guy playing there for a couple hundred years.
Breaking ball to Aaron Altair, and it's 0-1. Fly ball center field. And a 1-2-3 fifth inning for Camarena. On to the 6th here in Clearwater. Phil's trail it by 1. There's the Phillie Phanatic in rare form. You've got a Frank Sinatra impersonator who was here singing New York, New York. And the Phanatic just didn't like that. Guy sounded a lot like Frank Sinatra. Let's take a look at the game summary. The Yankees have scored 3 runs, all on wild pitches, including a wild pitch in the 5th that led to 2. Maikel Franco, who was still in, has hit a solo home run. Adam Morgan started the ball game for the Phillies and went 2 scoreless innings. And he allowed just 2 hits.
Catcher Austin Romine.
So Mark Appel will start inning number 2. And he'll face Austin Romine, Greg Bird. Or at least Greg Bird's spot in the order. And Chris Carter's spot in the order. First pitch is off the hands, blooped out toward first. And Tommy Joseph makes the catch. Howie Kendrick has joined Greg Murphy down the left field line. Murph.
All right, thanks a lot, Tom. Yeah, you know, we've talked about some of the new faces, and certainly Howie Kendrick, a new one here in Philadelphia. And I guess, you know, first question would be first impressions as you wear the red pinstripes now and you get a chance to know your new teammates. How's it been for you?
You know, it's been great. You know, we've been having a lot of fun. As you can see, some of the young guys already getting it going for us early. And, you know, it's been fun this spring, you know, getting in with a lot of the youth around, just, you know, feeling young again, you know. But it was good to get out there today and just try to get things going.
You know, when a guy like yourself comes into a new organization, especially an organization with so many young players, not only are you asked to perform out on the field, which everyone expects, but also asked to do some extra stuff in that clubhouse. It's a role that I understand that you've taken to in terms of a leader, that you've taken to rather nicely.
You know, I'm not really much of a vocal guy when it comes to telling guys what to do, but I think it's more lead by example. You know, guys see you hustling, running balls out, playing the game hard, playing it the right way. I think that's what's important, you know, the way you go about your business, putting in the work, and then, you know, talking to guys here and there if they have any questions. But, you know, I think the biggest thing is, you know, you never want to be the guy that's going to lead everybody. I think they should be their own leaders, but you can give them an example to go by.
You know, we're all talking about how exciting it is to get things going. Another new season. You're a guy that's been around for a while, but is the excitement there when you get out on the field for the first couple of days, like it is the last couple of days?
You know what? It is exciting. You know, especially once you start games. I mean, that's what it's about, getting ready for the season. And you know, this is the stepping stone, you know, carrying over into the season. But you know, it's also good to get out and iron out the kinks. You know, that's why we do spring training, just in case we might have some issues here and there. But I think the biggest thing is just getting everybody on the same page, playing the same game, and just seeing what we got.
All right, before I let you go, I understand that you had an interesting day the other day. You were with the Phillie Phanatic and spent some time bunking up with the Phillie Phanatic, right? It's part of the Phillies ad campaign. You shot a commercial with the Phanatic, right?
Yeah, he's my new roommate. So, you know, when you see it, just let me know. But he's, you know, I've been a fan of the Phanatic for a long time. Best mascot in the game. And, you know, the things he does out on the field, the way he gets the crowd involved, the way he gets other teams involved. You know, I've messed with him for years being a visiting player, but to be able to see him throughout the year this year, 81 games, it's going to be pretty fun.
Well, we're really glad to have you here in the Phillies pinstripes, and welcome and enjoy your season.
All right, thank you.
Howie, guys, back to you.
All right, Murph, thank you. We asked Matt Klentak the other day, just, you know, how much is Howie Kendrick, because Matt was with the Angels when Howie was there, how much has he changed? What kind of an influence did he see there? He said, you know, when he was with the Angels, he always had somebody else that was the quote-unquote leader, whether it be Albert Pujols or Vladimir Guerrero, guys like that. He said, but he certainly watched from a distance how those guys did some things. I thought that answer about, you know, guys have to be their own leader is actually a pretty good answer.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell a guy what you think he should be doing differently. You can show him what you think he should be doing differently, but unless he takes that upon himself, you're going to have the same thing over and over again. Yeah, you're responsible for yourself.
Rob Refsnyder is batting for the Yankees, and there's a call, strike 3. Two outs for Mark Appel.
Designated hitter Chris Carter.
Little cutter there by Appel.
There's Scott Kingery, who's playing second base now for the Phillies. Pedro Florimon is the new shortstop for the Phils. There's Brian Halladay, the catcher, one of the veterans in camp. There's Florimon. And Chris Carter takes on the outside corner. That's a pretty good placement right there by Mark Appel.
Good luck hitting that one.
Especially your third at bat at the spring.
Yeah.
I hated spring training with a passion.
All of it?
Every bit of it. My introduction to big league spring training was the manager didn't show up.
Who was that?
Dick Williams.
Oh, yeah.
He just didn't show up. We were sitting there for a couple hours and waiting for the manager to give us that pre-spring training, glad to have you all here, you're the best team ever speech, and he just neglected to tell the front office that he was retiring.
Who eventually showed up for him?
Steve Boris. Great guy.
Is that in Yuma?
Oh, boy. Yeah. I got a whole year of stories about Yuma. What a great place. But and then the next year, Bo was the manager. He implemented this every morning. We had to run 2 miles.
Every
in the
morning?
Streets of Yuma.
Over toward third. That's a fair ball. Franco in time. Well, we're going to have plenty of time to talk more about that this year at some point, because now you have spent most of your baseball life with Larry Bowa. Onto the bottom. McDonald's opening night T-shirt is free to fans 15 and older. It'll take place on Saturday, April 8th at 7:05 when the Phillies take on the Washington Nationals in Game 2 of their series. Like everything else, you can log on to Phillies.com to make your purchase of tickets. Three to 2, Yankees on top. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Camarena is still out on the mound for the Yankees. First pitch to Scott Kingery. There's Billy McKinney, who takes over in right field for the Yankees. Wade is in center field for the New York Yankees. And Choi is the new left fielder. No balls and 2 strikes. They're all household names. Last year, I think in Game 1 or Game 2, the Blue Jays had a guy that wasn't on their roster. Number 99, and nobody knew, even from the Blue Jays, who he was.
Fantasy camper just stayed. What?
It took about an inning and a half before anybody realized what his name actually was.
Probably a top prospect, huh?
He was a big kid too.
Don't let the height fool you.
In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Donovan Solano is the new third baseman for the Yankees. Pete Kozma, the former big leaguer with the Cardinals, is at shortstop. Mateo is the new second baseman. And Rob Refsnyder stays in to play first base. Ball's hit back toward the middle, and a base hit for Kingery. There is a lot of optimism about Scott Kingery.
Ball player.
That's what Larry Bowa was telling me this morning about him. And Mickey Morandini.
Change up down. Doesn't try and do too much. Stay in the middle. A lot of hits up the middle.
Here's Andrew Poulin, who was up for the first time. Matt Stairs likes Andrew Poulin an awful lot. He was part of the Phillies prospects seminar that went on this year in the offseason. 346 with Double-A, 10 home runs, 32 RBIs. He also played in Single-A. His numbers were not, they were good, they just weren't the same. Matt likes a guy that hits a fastball, and Poulin is one of those guys that can hit a fastball. Off the end of the bat, foul, 1-1.
Yeah, things are different now as far as hitting. I mean, it was always, you know, look for the fastball, and pretty much 2-0, 3-1, you were probably going to get a fastball. Nowadays, it's, you know, who knows? 2-0, you're going to get a breaking ball, you could get a changeup.
Yeah.
That all started to me with Tom Glavine started doing that. 2-0, you never know what you were going to get. He'd throw you a changeup, slider, whatever, but that's when I thought, well, I'm not going to be around much longer.
The ball hit sharply right over the first base bag. Kingree's on his way to third, and he'll be held there. Poulin will hold up at first base. That ball certainly jumped off his bat.
Wise decision to stay at first base. You don't want to run into an out, especially with nobody out. Here to start the bottom of the sixth. But that was a good example there. Fastball at 90, turns on it. Good looking swing. It's a quick swing. Very quick bat. Right by Ruff Snyder at first base. Very level, doesn't change the level on his head.
The Phillies down by 1, but have runners on first and third here in the home sixth inning. And Odubel Herrera, who is 0 for 2, he's popped out and he's grounded out. You guys like him in the number 3 spot? I know he's led off, he's batted second. I mean, as we said, they're interchangeable to a certain extent.
I do. I think it's probably best suited for this lineup. I wouldn't be surprised to see Michael move in and out of that 3-hole as well.
And it could be a situation where, you know, depending on who's pitching, they could switch he and Franco, you know, leave Saunders at 5th, and, you know, if a tough righty, you might put Franco 3rd and let Odubel protect him.
Over to second base. That might be 2, but a run will score. And Odubel's able to, I thought he legged it out. That jump at the bag may have cost him, but we're tied up at 3. All started because of Kingree's leadoff single.
Michael Franco.
He got him.
He did get him.
Where his foot landed, though.
Right in the middle of the bag.
Foot landed right on top of the base. And those are the little things that the fine details that Larry Bowa was so good at with me. Every little thing. Some of them were really annoying.
Did that start in San Diego, or did it start really when you came over to Philly?
No, it started. It's first day.
What'd you do with those 2-mile runs every day?
Wasn't fun. Former Philly great Keith Moreland and I chugging in.
Were they timed runs, or you just had to do it?
Well, he said.
You say come back before lunch?
15 minutes or whatever. We met in the parking lot of the team hotel at like 7 in the morning. Ran the 2 miles, went back to the room, showered, go to the ballpark.
Did he run it with you?
No. He was in the parking lot, and then I guess he rode over to the field and waited. He probably was afraid someone would have beat him up halfway around.
Bouncer foul off the third base side. And the count remains 2-2. When you went from San Diego to the Phillies and you met up with him again, was it any different?
Nope. Oh, no. No, that's the thing with him. What is he, 70? The consistency is just remarkable on him.
Tapper back to the mound. Actually, that rolls foul.
Come on, Mike.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, I guess that's the thing about Larry, is that he has been consistently the same person ever since he was the manager of the San Diego Padres.
You know, when he managed here, the first game of spring training, I think they lost. He called me because I was living in the Philly area. And he said, what are they saying about me on TV? What are they saying about me? They want me fired already? What are they writing in the paper? I'm like, oh, my gosh, it's one game. Would you relax?
He's been a great influence on Pete, you know, since Pete has taken over as the manager. The ball is rocketed into left center field, and Maikel Franco has another base hit. And the ball got away and goes stuck under the fence. Franco, Juan Samuel is saying, just keep on coming. Oh, now he picked it up. He shouldn't have done that. It's a live ball. Franco will score, and the Phillies take the lead.
Nothing like a 2-home run day, Tom.
It looked like he put his hands up, but did he touch the ball before?
Should not have touched the ball.
But I think he touched the ball before it went under the fence. So basically, he was the one who knocked it under the fence. You know, if this was a regular season game, Joe Girardi would be out there. Second game of the spring, and we're good. See if he touches the ball and it goes. See,
oh,
he
you're
touched
right. He
the
kicked
ball.
It underneath. Yep.
He kicked it and it went underneath.
Yeah, so that's a live ball. And look, it's not stuck under the fence. He could easily have picked it up initially.
Right.
Juan Samuel was waving. I mean, Franco had stopped at second, and Juan started waving and waving and waving. Because you're the base runner, you just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can always send you back. They don't send you forward too many times.
No. Regardless, it was a great at bat by Maikel. Fouled off a couple pitches.
Is that a home run or a double and an error? How are we looking at that?
I believe they're saying it's an inside the park home run. Officially, it has been ruled an inside the park home run. Here's Rhys Hoskins. Hoskins, 38 home runs last year in Reading. He and Dylan Cousins had a pretty good battle going on for the home run crown.
I don't think he was trying to shoot that one to right.
I don't think so. During the prospect seminar this past off season, Rhys was there, so was Dylan Cousins and Scott Kingery. I was most impressed with Hoskins and just how he dealt with you know, the whole week of questions and everything. He's got it together. I think they're excited about moving up another level to Lehigh Valley and see if they can continue what they did last year in Double-A Reading. Two and two. Fly ball to center field. That ball is crushed, and it is gone. A home run for Rhys Hoskins. The Phillies have gone back-to-back. The not-so-traditional way first, and now a little traditional home run from Rhys Hoskins, and they lead it 4-3.
Loud noises.
Ooh, that's a different sound.
Sure was. Woo.
Now, do you need like a timer to say velocity off the bat to know that that's pretty good?
Wow.
I know it's really good for February 25th. Right center. That's big boy land out there.
Yeah, that wasn't a cheapie.
No, that didn't scrape the back of the fence. Went halfway up that hill.
Tommy Joseph now the batter. Tommy hits one to shallow center field. Wade had trouble seeing it right away, but now the shortstop Cosma is there, and he makes the catch. The Phillies score 3 runs in the inning, and they do so with 2 home runs, including an inside the park home run for Maikel Franco, his second home run of the day. And then Rhys Hoskins launches one to center field. Watch Franco here. This was a good swing. He would have at least had 2, but then it was misplayed by Wade. He thought it was stuck under the fence. Franco kept on going, and no questions about this one for Rhys Hoskins. Phillies leading 5-3 as we go to the 7th. Our first Dollar Dog Night of the season, brought to you by Hatfield, will be Monday, April 10th, when the Phillies take on the New York Mets. You can get tickets for all 3 of the games against the Mets by going to Phillies.com. The first of a handful Hatfield, Philly Frank, Hatfield Dollar Dog Nights.
Do those make their way up to the booth?
They do, yeah. Usually it's accompanied by the Fanatic and Smiley the Pig from Hatfield, but they do make their way up to the booth.
Hey, you got to give a little, get a little, I guess. If you're going to get a free hot dog, you have to deal with the Fanatic.
Here's Joely Rodriguez, who will take over. Rodriguez, those are his numbers in Double-A, but he also pitched in the big leagues. And he did a pretty nice job for the Phillies out of the bullpen last year. They originally had acquired him from the Pittsburgh Pirates. And he's got some life on his fastball, and he is going to battle for the lefty out of the pen, one of the lefties out of the pen. He faces Billy McKinney to start it off. I know it was only September last year, and people always say don't put a whole lot of stock in September call-ups. But Rodriguez looked very comfortable coming out of the bullpen. Hector Gomez takes over at third base for Maikel Franco and Brock Stassi. Cameron Perkins, who had a nice day yesterday offensively against the Yankees, takes over in center.
They need scorecards like spring training scorecards and then regular season.
Wider and longer for spring training.
A little more space.
Yeah.
Because I'm done.
Well, you've gotten farther along than Schmidt used to get. In the dirt, 3 balls and 2 strikes. What did you use as a score sheet for the Little League World Series this past season?
Man. Yeah, with the runners and
substitutions.
re-entry.
Fly ball to right center field. Aaron Altera tells Cam Perkins he's got it, and he makes the catch. One away. One of the storylines today was the success of Adam Morgan. 2 innings as the starter for the Phils, and he joins Greg Murphy.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Tom. A very efficient and successful innings for Adam Morgan today. Always a nice way to get the spring started in that fashion. That had to feel pretty good.
Absolutely, to get it out there and get it going quick, just not trying to mess around too much, just straight to the point, throw strikes, and start sharpening the pitches from here on out.
I was going to ask you, when you're talking strictly, preparation for games, what is the mindset for games like this? You're only pitching, a limited amount of time. What are you thinking early on in the spring?
Just pound the zone, fill up the zone, and like I said, the sharpness will come as you get more innings in. But for now, just pounding the zone.
Okay, mindset, bigger picture. You're obviously here to win jobs. All of you guys are, and you're no exception. So what is the overall mindset for Adam Morgan coming into this particular big league camp?
Just stay within myself and do whatever's asked of me. Anywhere. I mean, the bullpen, starting rotation, whatever. Backup shortstop, whatever they need. No, but seriously, just take each day as it comes and. Not get too high, not to get too low.
You're willing to do anything. I like that. Talk a little bit about, obviously you've had time in the big leagues. You know what it takes to be successful at this level. How much does that help as you come in knowing that you're trying to win that job?
Yeah, I think that it helps with, your preparation and when to step on the gas, when to ease off, you know your body and you know how long spring training is. So, it just helps in that way to when to back off, when to really, push it and what kind of things to look for in at-bats.
Well, we watched it today. We obviously put your work in during the offseason, but you also had a little bit of fun. You headed out on a cruise with your wife. Yeah, you got a little downtime, right?
Yeah. Right after the season, it was like a week after the season, we went on a cruise, and luckily Andrews, that big storm, passed us, but we got to go to St. Martin, Puerto Rico, and Haiti.
Very nice. Nice indeed. And now it's back to work. Adam, we appreciate your time as always. Good luck this spring, guys. Let's send it back to you.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. Here's Donovan Solano after 2 quick outs for Joely Rodriguez. And Solano takes strike 1. It's 0-1. I think he's right, though. He just kind of went after it today. No hesitation, just boom.
Pitch to contact. It's such a lost start in this game anymore.
Donovan Solano, who was in the big leagues with the Miami Marlins. We saw him often as their second baseman. Spent last year in AAA with the Yankees. Over to first base. Stassi, the sure-handed first baseman, is able to pick that. And a 1-2-3 7th inning for Rodriguez. Time to stretch. Phillies up 5-3. Tonight on CSN, the Sixers are in the Big Apple to tangle with Carmelo Anthony and the New York Knicks. Sixers versus Knicks. Coverage begins tonight at 7 right here. on CSN. We move to the bottom of the 7th inning along with John Kruk, Ben Davis, and Greg Murphy. I'm Tom McCarthy. Great to be back with you here in Clearwater, Florida. Phillies are on the road tomorrow in Dunedin, and then back here in Clearwater on Monday. Ben Heller is the new pitcher for the Yankees. Another one of the guys they acquired in the Andrew Miller deal. This guy's a power pitcher. 45 minor league outings last year, had a 1.60 ERA. His numbers with the Yankees, you see a 6.43 ERA, somewhat deceptive. You know, he had 7 scoreless outings, and he had 2 where he allowed 2 runs. He is a power pitcher who has a fastball and a slurve. And he said he tries to mix in a little changeup, but when you're coming out throwing 96, 97, you don't really need to throw that third pitch.
Not on February 25th.
Nope. Facing Pedro Florimon up for the first time. Ooh. Got some gas going.
That's what one thing great about being a starter. You don't have to face these guys in the 7th. He got a strange delivery, a little quirky. Throwing 97 looks like could be tough to pick up too.
Swing and a miss, and there is strikeout number 1, and Brian Holiday will be the batter. Well, the rest of spring and this coming season will feature our 20th year on CSN. 17 spring training games counting today from Spectrum Field. All 162 regular season games will be on CSN, TCN, and NBC 10. And don't forget, Phillies pregame live will be before every game, and there's an extended postgame show that will take place as well. Only home game that we're not doing here at Spectrum is the last week we're down in Florida. There's a night game. Haven't had many night games here at Spectrum Field in recent years. Did you play a lot of night games at Jack Russell? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I'm assuming no. No, I do remember. Was that there? Yuma? I can't remember. I don't know. No, I think we did have one. It was weird because you wake up at 7 o'clock anyway.
Ready to go.
And then you're like, well, I don't have to be there till 7 more hours. What am I going to do now?
And there's no way you can sleep. You just, that clock goes off.
Well, particularly if you're trained to get up at that point.
That's what I'm saying. It's just.
And then the next day was even worse.
Because you had to get up
at 7.
Strike 3 called. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Heller. There are 2 outs, and here comes Dylan Cousins. Do you think there's a more anticipated young player for Phillies fans to see this spring than him? I mean, I'm not talking about the guys that are, you know, part of the 25-man roster, but some of the younger players after what he did last year in Reading with 40 home runs.
I'd say he, Hoskins, and Crawford. Those 3 are probably the top 3 that folks want to see.
A little guy. Oh. Wow.
Outside corner, 1-1.
People, myself included, love homers. That's the bottom line. Hoskins hits homers, Cousins hits homers.
And that's what the amazing thing, why it took so long to sign a guy like Chris Carter. 42 homers last year. It took him, what, spring training almost started before he signed with the Yankees.
Yeah, there were probably other teams that could have even used him aside from the Yankees. Well, he's going to be, Cousins will be heading to a new ballpark this year at Lehigh Valley. He and Hoskins little bigger ballpark, but he's got power. It doesn't matter what ballpark it is.
He's not hitting wall scrapers.
No. I mean, that foul ball alone, I mean, it's turning on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and he got out in front of it. At least for the first couple of weeks, it'll be nice to see him. You know, we talk about the Phillies prospects and all the ones they have. I mean, as Ben mentioned during the outset of today's game, you know, the focus is on the guys that are up in the big leagues because they've already done it. And a backdoor breaking pitch, and he just struck out the side. Phillies go down in order. 3 consecutive strikeouts for Heller. Phillies lead at 5-3 as we go to the 8th inning.
Different players, you know, that's about it. You know, this is my 49th year in spring training, so there's nothing new. Everything, the game's the same no matter where you go. Being in charge it's really fun, especially for the Phillies. I'm very proud to be part of the Phillies organization, and especially being the manager. So the greatest part about the job is that I can put my finger in everything. You know, I can make sure that things are done the way I want them done on the field.
Well, Pete is certainly relaxed. I mean, he does have a fiery edge to him, but he is one of the more relaxed people that you will meet in the game of baseball. 49 years in the game of baseball. Larry Bowa has been in baseball for 50 years. 49 years, and we sit there, and not because he's the Phillies manager, but you wonder why he never had gotten a consistent chance to be a skipper in the big leagues before the Phillies gave him the opportunity. Dylan Cousins takes over in right field. So Aaron Alter's day is done. Peterbray Ramos facing Pete Kozma.
What makes Pete so great for us personally is the fact he's so accessible. He doesn't hold anything back. He lets you know exactly where he stands with all his players. Talk to him about anything. Anything.
Let you park in his parking spot at the ballpark when he's not there.
We talked today about how he got the sunscreen in his eye yesterday, and it bothered him until 7, 8 o'clock last night. His eyes were watering. Very accessible.
And divulges everything.
He does.
2-1.
But don't think that doesn't mean he doesn't have the respect of the clubhouse or his players or his coaching staff. Because he does. And he demands that respect, and you should get it.
2-1 to Pete Kozma. Back toward the middle. That's a base hit. Asked Pete the other day when we met with him if there's anything different he wanted to do this year as a manager. I mean, people have talked about the music playing when they're doing batting practice and doing drills and stuff like that. I mean, it's sort of a light atmosphere. But he said that what he was really happy about last year was the defense and some of the drills they did in spring training to prepare for the regular season. He said, I'm going to keep that keep doing that. He said, obviously, I'm going to keep driving home the point about better base running, because he said, I think that's what will give us, the ability to win more games, is if our pitching is tighter and our base running is better and our defense is, keeps getting better and better. Off the hands of Tyler Wade. Ramos burst on the scene last year for the Phillies and turned out to be a very nice piece to their bullpen. But the anticipation is that he will continue to be one of those guys that will help set up for the back end. Runner goes. Pitch is taken for a ball. Throw to second base on one hop, and he is out at second base. Nice play by Florimon.
Quick catch and release there by Holliday. Got to thank your shortstop. Take him out for supper. But Holliday does a really good job getting rid of that ball quickly. That's how you want to give a ball to one of your middle infielders. Is it high? No. It's in the dirt? Yes, but at least he can work with that. If that ball's up, he can't work with a ball that's high. You could always work. We always talk about infielders working from the ground up. This is exactly what Florimon can do and has the ability to do. Work from the ground up, apply a great tag. Very nice. Good hand-eye coordination. Good strong throw there by Holliday.
Here's Jorge Mateo for the Yankees after that walk to Wade. Little chopper back to the mound. Turned out to be a little more difficult play than he thought.
Yeah, that would have been a first for me, a pitcher losing one in the sun.
Take a look at our Toyota roster turnover from last year to this year. Phillies certainly have some new faces. There's 62 total players in camp, including 22 non-roster invitees. And of the 2016 40-man roster, how about that turnover? 24 still remaining. Here's Kellen Deglin, who's catching now for the Yankees with a runner at second. He whacks that one foul. Deglin last year in Double-A hit 9 home runs and 27 runs batted in. Signed by the Yankees as a minor league free agent this past offseason. That one is lined out to right center field. That'll be in for a base hit. It'll score a run. So Deglin has an RBI base hit, and it's now a 5-4 ball game.
I don't want to say it, Tom, the first game we're broadcasting, but who scored?
The guy that walked?
Yes, indeed. I don't know why it bothers me so much. It just does.
Was it because you didn't walk that much when you were a player?
No, I just, even from a catching standpoint, it frustrated me as a catcher. Just challenge somebody. Let's go.
Hey, you're putting the fingers down.
I'm making suggestions. But it just, guy would cross home plate right in front of me thinking it's a walk that shouldn't have been.
There's Rob Refsnyder for the Yankees up for the second time, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Phillies are going to have Jenmar Gomez and Hector Neris and Joaquin Benoit toward the back end of the bullpen. And then you throw in somebody like Adebray Ramos. I mean, they've got guys that can fire. Pat Neshek.
That's the thing that when you talk to teams in the National League East about the Phillies, they mention, and you mentioned the additions, of course, but their bullpen, which was supposed to be a weak point for them last year, became a strength. They had guys coming out of there firing.
Kind of ironic that the one with the least amount of velocity out of those guys is your closer.
Yeah, where'd that come from? That's what I mean. You know, we thought it was going to be closer by committee. Everyone you talked to said we're just going to try to figure it out day to day, and Gomez stepped up and took the role.
And Pete has already said that he will be the closer to start this year. People were wondering, would it be Hector Neris? Would it be Joaquin Benoit? And to Jedmar's credit, he said, nah, I don't really care. I mean, he doesn't.
I don't know. Did he see the arbitration with Dylan Betances?
Actually thought about that. Runner goes out to shallow right center field. Kingre's having some trouble with the sun, but now he's got it. Do not want to bang into Dylan Cousins.
That's Cousins' ball, though. Cousins has to take that one.
Yankees do get a run on the RBI single by Deglin. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Phillies nursing a 1-run lead. Kids opening night is Sunday, I should say kids opening day is Sunday, April 9th at 1:35. It's the Phillies hooded sweatshirt, free to fans 14 and under. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. It's a cool giveaway. We all have kids. We all have about 1 million of the hooded sweatshirts for all the teams that they play on.
Not me.
Well, you don't need it down here. You have all the T-shirts.
Although it did get to 60 the other day, and the kids were complaining about how frigid it was.
There's Jonathan Holder, who will take over for the Yankees. Holder last year 16 saves at a 1.65 ERA. And he will face Scott Kingery, who singled his first time up. No balls and 1 strike.
No one throws 89 anymore, do they?
Nope.
Except in that college game the other day that was here at the ballpark.
Scott.
Did the college game, did the Phillies starters play? Like, did Franco play? Did Herrera play?
J.P. Crawford was playing. You know, guys like that. Cousins.
That's a no-win situation there.
Well, 2 years ago, they wound up losing that game.
That's what I mean. You beat them, well, you should have. They're college kids, and you lose to them, like, oh, my gosh, you guys stink.
It was a very comfortable victory this time. Kingery fouls it back. It's 2-2.
Can you imagine being in college and you're coming to play a big league game?
It'd be one of the greatest things in the world.
Would be nice.
Phillies have a couple of second base prospects, including Kingery, that the folks in AA and AAA will get a chance to see this year. The other one is the son of Javier Valentin, Yasmiel Valentin, who we'll probably see at some point during the course of spring training.
Former teammate of mine.
Popped him up. Ref Snyder. I said Javier, it's Jose Valentin. You knew who I was talking about, Ben. Javier was a major leaguer and is the brother of Jose, but not the father of Yasmin.
Probably making the uncle.
We'll make him the uncle.
Got that family tree thing down pretty good.
Here's Andrew Poulin up for the second time. He singled his first time up. Talked to Poulin this offseason, talking about his numbers in AA compared to single A, and he had a good year in single A before earning the promotion. I said, you hit like 50 points higher in AA. He said, well, everybody always told me that the pitchers were more around the plate in AA. He said, but it's true. You know, you're not fishing for something because you're just trying to get a base hit or you're trying to make something happen. He said they're going to throw it more around the plate than they do in single A.
Each level you go up, you just get more and more polished.
Swing and a miss. 4 strikeouts in the last 2 innings for the Yankee young relievers. And now here's Cameron Perkins. Cam Perkins went yard yesterday against the Yankees. 26-year-old who has ascended up the ladder in the Phillies organization after the Phillies took him out of Purdue. Here is that home run.
Use the dimensions. I'd just like to see guys use the whole field. I know it. I talk about it a lot, but to be able to drive a ball out like that, it means your swing is on plane and you're staying inside.
And you notice too, who'd he hit the home run off of? The Yankees. It's all breaking balls now. I guess because you hit one fastball, that's it, right?
Well, the Phillies don't have the bench for the Phillies for the regular season. It's not set. You know, they've brought in some guys like Chris Coghlan that could possibly battle for a bench spot. Aaron Altair is battling for a bench spot. But Pete has said that some of the younger players like Cam Perkins, if they hit, you never know. Andrew Poulin, if he hits, you never know. Pete said he likes Cam Perkins because he doesn't wear batting gloves, because that's how Pete used to play. He's choking up on the bat a little bit. Back-to-back strikeouts, 5 strikeouts for the Yankee relievers in the last couple of innings. Hector Neris is going to try to close things out for the Phils when we return for the top of the ninth. Well, it's a great opening weekend of baseball and great promotions for everyone when the Washington Nationals help kick off the home schedule at Citizens Bank Park. It starts on Friday, April 7th. It's Nemours opening day. And you can see that cap that folks will be getting on Cavity Busters Kids opening day on Sunday, April 9th at 1:35. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. 5-4 as we go to the top of the 9th inning, and Hector Neris will take it over for the Phils. Could he be a closer? Absolutely, because he's got that put away pitch. He had a rough September. Otherwise, his earned run average would have been under 2. But you know, he had a pretty big workload.
I think he was exhausted. You're right.
And he will face, for the first time today, Jorge Saez for the Yankees. Saez stepping in as the DH for Chris Carter. Ball's popped over the head of Joe Girardi.
Is he probably the most in shape manager in baseball right now?
Yes.
Brad Ausmus. Brad Ausmus.
Yeah, I think he's tighter than Ausmus. I agree with that. Do you hear what he wants to do? His suggestion is for trying to speed up the games.
They have to run out.
Well, maybe that, but also putting a earpiece in the hitters, the batting helmets, so you can just tell the hitter what you want them to do instead of going through the signs and stuff like that.
And then you'll have someone down there deciphering the signs and telling them, okay, we're thinking about hit and running here, but here comes a fastball.
There is some talk, though, that the umpires might have them so they can talk to replay, so they don't have to walk over, as Rob Manfred said, and put the air traffic control headsets on.
But then how would that get sponsored?
That's a good question.
I have to ask Mr. Manfred.
Billy McKinney flied out to right field the first time up.
I think if you limit the catcher's visits to the mound. You ever watch a Kansas City Royals game? Salvador Perez is a great catcher and a great person, but it's 5 or 6 trips to the mound every inning. And God forbid if someone got on base.
Yeah.
And it really slowed up. But there's a lot of catchers like that now.
Yeah, they're sort of managing each at bat.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
They're throwing the barrel. He threw it behind him, but I mean, he threw it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to McKinney. Phillies trying to win their first game of the spring after dropping yesterday's game. A little better day offensively for them. Over to first base, Stassi takes the kangaroo hop. And 2 outs. Ji-Man Choi will be up for the second time. He grounded out his first time up. Switch hitter batting left-handed.
Well, let's hope he doesn't have power. His power side's the left side. Hopes that split finger will get that grounder to second, won't it?
It should. Hector holds his split so much different than everybody else because he sort of holds it off to the seams off to the side. There you go.
I haven't seen a pitch swung and missed that more than that splitter that he was throwing last year.
He's throwing a little bit more of a slider this year too.
Yeah. That's one thing that our colleague Larry Anderson wanted him to do more, and we talked about it at length in the office at times. That
Under 2 strikeouts last year, joining the likes of Dick Selma, Al Holland, and Jake Diekman. That one's off the left field line. Gomez, the third baseman, and that's going to drop for a base hit. I don't know if Gomez thought that Poulin was going to get there or if he just lost it.
Regardless, it wasn't the most efficient route to the ball. The ball's got to be caught, period.
Florimont had a long way to go for it as well.
Especially this time of the ball game, you know the outfielders are going to be deeper.
Oh, he's nowhere near it.
No.
So now Donovan Solano with 2 men down and a runner at second base. Phillies up 5-4. They've gotten 2 home runs today from Maikel Franco and a long one from Rhys Hoskins. The Yankees have scored 3 runs thanks to 2 wild pitches, and then another run on a base hit by Deglin, their current catcher. Solano grounded out to first, his first time up. I think Holiday was crossed up on that.
A little bit. That's got to be fun, huh? Tying run on second, 2 outs. First pitch of the at bat, you get crossed up.
If it's off speed, it's not as bad. But if it's a fastball and you're looking off speed, not pleasant.
Line drive, base hit it to right field. That's going to tie the game up. Cousins is able to stop it. Solano with an RBI single, and it's a 5-5 ball game.
Well, Bobbitt should have been caught down the left field line to end this game, and give the Yankees credit. They capitalized on a mistake. They were given a gift, and they decided to open it up and enjoy it.
And that is a beautiful piece of hitting there by Solano.
So he's aboard now for Pete Kozma. Kozma singled his first time up. And he fouls it back to the screen. No balls and 1 strike. Like you said, a left-hander, Joe Mantiply, who has just jumped up and started warming up in the bullpen. There he is. He was scheduled to pitch today.
Yeah. Pete Mackanin went over between innings, was speaking to Joe Girardi. I wonder if it was about this. If you don't tie it up, do you want to still get this kid an inning pitch if he needs to pitch an inning?
Yeah, they've brought a couple of extra pitchers, and usually at this point, you know, well, any point during the spring, they'll talk about whether they want to go 1 extra inning or just play 9 innings.
How about the Fighting Phils just win it in the bottom of the 9th?
Or do that.
And no matter what you do, you're trying to protect your pitchers and all that, I understand. The fans aren't going to be happy.
No. To the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And a strike 3 call. So the Phillies give up a run here in the top of the 9th inning. The Yankees tied on the base hit from Donovan Solano. We'll head to the bottom of the 9th. It's the Yankees 5 and the Phillies 5. inning. We're all tied up at 5 apiece. The Yankees scoring a run in their half of the 9th inning. So now as we go to the bottom of the 9th, the Phillies will face Joe Mantiply. Mantiply last year with the Tigers was 4-2 with a 3.19 ERA. And in the minor leagues, he had a 2.73 earned run average. 6'4", 215 pounds. And it looks like he will face Hector Gomez to start things off. It'll be Gomez and then Rhys Hoskins and then Brock Stassi. Those are the scheduled hitters for the Phillies. Whether they play another inning or not, we'll be able to tell if somebody starts to loosen up in the bullpen. Will Morris had been throwing for the Phils, one of the minor league additions for today's ball game, which they have 3 minor league players that they've added.
We get something going here.
Gomez last year hit a .183, and the first pitch is in there. It's 0-1.
There's your 88, John.
Well, we found one.
From the left side.
Bray got a great breaking ball and changeup.
Here's the highest number. Do you guys remember what the highest number was you wore in spring training?
44.
44?
My first year in big league camp, I was 64. The next year, I was 70.
Ben, you're going the wrong way.
That's not good.
Gomez strikes out, so Rhys Hoskins is coming up.
Designated hitter, Rhys Hoskins.
Holiday and Hector Neris chatting in the dugout. This is Rhys Hoskins' home run his last time up. This was a big man's home run.
And I like his leg kick a lot. It's slow, it's methodical, but he gets his foot down on time, which is obviously the biggest key in hitting. But what that enables him to do is not rush at the ball.
Is it at all harder with that when you got a guy now throwing 88 compared to the 95 that he saw the last time?
I don't think so. Obviously, he feels comfortable with it and does damage with it. It's just a matter of as long as you take that stride and you don't chase it with your hands or your head. But I even like the way he takes a pitch. He's just not in a rush to go attack it.
Outside, 3-1.
Slow feet, quick hands. That's what I was always taught.
That's it.
A liner out toward left field. Choi on the run. He's not going to get it. It's going to go to the wall. And Hoskins on his way to second base. And he'll be there with his second extra base hit of the day. And Roman Quinn's going to come on a pinch run. Perfect shot of that leg kick that you guys were just talking about.
Yeah, and it's very methodical, but good at bat there, getting himself into a good count. Not trying to do a whole lot.
So the very quick Roman Quinn will take his leadoff second with Stassi up for the first time.
You think Sammy's going to stop him down there?
I don't think so.
He's already thinking about the ice bags he got to put on his shoulder, waving him so hard.
Stassi had a decent year last year at Lehigh Valley. Very good defensive first baseman. He too implemented a little bit of a leg kick prior to the 2015 season, which benefited him.
This is where you look around the defense. You see Cosmas playing right behind the runner at second. Open up that big hole. Get something out over the plate and hit it through that hole. You're good to go. Did you look at the defense?
I did not.
Did you, John?
I did. Not that I could execute, but nice to know.
Pedro Florimon is due up next. Back toward the middle, a base hit into center field. Quinn's around third, heading for home. The throw to the plate doesn't get there in time, and the Phillies win it here in the bottom of the ninth inning. An RBI single by Brock Stassi scores the speedy Roman Quinn, and win number 1 in spring training is in the books for the Phils.
Again, getting yourself into a good hitter's count. Matt Stairs has to love that about Brock Stassi right there. Spit on a few breaking balls down and away. Finally gets a cookie 3-1. Doesn't try and do too much with it. Takes one of those lousy singles up the middle. Game over.
Well, it certainly helps too when you have the speed of Roman Quinn at second base, because it became a foregone conclusion that he was going to score.
Yes, indeed. Just a good swing there. And what Matt Stairs has to like about it is these are the younger kids. They're buying into it, getting themselves in good situations. And this play's not even close at home plate. That's the way John and I used to run.
A little speed there. Little bit of speed.
Well, after losing yesterday and not getting a whole lot of offense, the Phillies get 6 runs on 8 base hits here this afternoon, as they win it by a final score of 6-5. They get a couple of home runs, actually 3 home runs. Maikel Franco hit 2. Rhys Hoskins hit 1, but it was also Hoskins' double that helped set up the game-winning run crossing the plate after he was pinch run for by Roman Quinn. So a pretty good day offensively for the Phils, and for some of the younger players, a chance to contribute and help their team to the victory here this afternoon. Time now for our W.B. Mason deliveries of the game. We'll take a look at the 3 home runs. Franco first in the 4th inning.
That's a great piece of hit right there. He was late on the fastball. They threw him a breaking ball, and he just extended on one and got it.
Inside the Parker here. Wade cannot corral it in center field. It goes under the fence. He already touched it. And then Perkins, Hoskins to dead center to make 3rd home run and 2nd in a row for the Fighting Phils. They are your W.B. Mason deliveries of the game.
And Greg Murphy is down on the field with Rhys Hoskins.
Yep, as you mentioned, one of the young guys making a difference today, and well, that has to feel good. But let's take it one step at a time. You get up there, and they were calling it a big boy home run. That one clears the fence, and first major league camp, those kinds of things, those kinds of moments, they're going to stay with you.
Yeah, we're just trying to out here trying to take it one pitch at a time. A lot of the veteran guys just say, hey, have fun with it. You're going to remember it forever, and that's what I'm trying to do.
What has been the influence of some of these guys, that you get a chance to work with every day, you get a chance to play alongside every day? I mean, that's what this time of the year is all about, especially for guys in your position.
Right, yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is watching how guys prepare for a game, and how they get prepared for a season. It's a long season, and especially in the big leagues. And those guys have the experience there, and just trying to pick up anything that I can.
It's got to be a little bit different for you coming into this year, obviously here at Major League Camp, but after the season that you had a year ago where you were a topic of conversation, not only down in the minor leagues, but up at the big league level too. So does it feel different for you as you come into this year?
Not really, no. I mean, like I said before, I try to take it one game at a time and stay, where my feet are, and, let the organization make the decisions that they want to make.
But I guess when you start off the way that you have, you get 2 hits today, and a big part of that, big part of the win today, those kinds of moments, like I said, a lot of fun for you and something you can build off of.
Absolutely, yeah. Long spring, but like you said, always good to get off on the right foot.
All right, well, keep it up, Reese. We appreciate it, guys. Back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. Our thanks to Reese Hoskins for joining us here this afternoon, and thanks to Roman Quinn having the speed that he had to score easily on that base hit from Brock Stassi. Bills win at 6-5. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.